I'm so happy you are here today. If you've ever felt stuck with your English, if you've ever worried about making mistakes, or if you've wanted to start each day with more confidence and happiness, this video is for you. Today, we are going to explore 15 powerful sentences that can change the way you start your mornings and the way you live your life. Imagine waking up feeling stressed, tired, or unsure of yourself. Many of us know that feeling. But now imagine a different morning. You wake up, say a few simple sentences, and immediately feel strong, motivated, and ready for anything. These sentences are easy to remember, simple to say, and they work every single day if you practice them. In this video, we will not only read these sentences, but we will also see real-life examples of how they can transform your day, your mindset, and even your relationships. You will see stories of people turning stress into peace, mistakes into learning, and ordinary mornings into powerful beginnings. So, stay with me until the end of the video. Repeat the sentences aloud, feel them in your heart, and let them guide your day. By the time this video finishes, you will have the tools to start your mornings with confidence, positivity, and joy. Are you ready? Let's begin our journey together, and let's make every morning the start of something amazing. Section 1. Why morning words matter. Have you ever noticed how one small moment in the morning can change your whole day? Maybe you woke up late, spilled coffee on your shirt, and then everything after that felt difficult. You walked fast, you spoke quickly, you felt annoyed, and you thought, "This is a bad day." On the other hand, maybe you woke up one morning, smiled, stretched your body, and whispered something kind to yourself. That day, even when small problems came, you felt calm, strong, and ready to continue. The way we start our mornings is like planting a seed. If we plant a seed of negative thoughts, the tree that grows during the day feels heavy and dark. But if we plant a seed of positive words, the tree of our day grows bright, strong, and full of life. Let me share a story of two people. The first person wakes up, hears the alarm, and thinks, "Oh no, another hard day. I am so tired. I don't want to go to work." They sit on the bed with a heavy face. They complain about the weather, about traffic, about their boss. When they walk into work, they already feel weak. They carry stress in their shoulders, and even small problems feel very big. At the end of the day, they go home and say, "See, I told you it would be a bad day." Now let's look at the second person. They also hear the alarm. They also feel a little tired. But instead of complaining, they take one deep breath and say softly, "I am grateful for this new day." They smile, even if it is small. They stretch their arms and tell themselves, "I will try my best today." They eat breakfast with a calm heart. When traffic is slow, they think, "I will use this time to listen to something useful." When a problem comes at work, they remind themselves, "I can handle this." At the end of the day, they feel proud because they created energy, even when life gave them challenges. Do you see the difference? The same world, the same problems, the same responsibilities, but two completely different days. The only difference is the words they told themselves in the morning. Words are not just sounds, they are tools. They are colors that paint the picture of your life. Negative words paint a dark picture, and positive words paint a brighter one. Some people think, "It doesn't matter what I say, life will be the same." But this is a mistake. Imagine you are a driver of a car. If you say, "I can't drive well," you will hold the wheel with fear. You will drive slowly, without confidence. But if you say, "I can drive carefully and learn step by step," your hands become steady, your eyes become focused, and you reach your destination more safely. The road is the same, but your words change the way you travel on it. The morning is like the start of that road. If you begin with doubt, fear, or anger, you carry that feeling into every moment. But if you begin with hope, strength, and gratitude, your steps are lighter. Even when something goes wrong, you can return to those morning words for power. Let's think about a simple example. Imagine two students. One wakes up and says, "I hate school. I am stupid. I will fail my exam." They go to class with no energy. They look at the paper, and their brain feels empty because fear blocks their memory. Another student wakes up and says, "I am learning. I am growing. I can try my best." They go to class with a more open mind. Even if the exam is difficult, they try calmly, and they remember more because their heart is not closed by fear. Both students studied the same number of hours, but the one who spoke kindly to themselves in the morning used their energy better. Sometimes we think only actions matter: working hard, studying late, running fast. But the truth is, actions begin with thoughts, and thoughts are shaped by words. The sentence you whisper in the morning is like the first step on a long walk. If the step is heavy, every step after feels harder. If the step is light, every step after feels easier. But maybe you are wondering, is it really possible? Can one small sentence change so much? The answer is yes. Not because the sentence is magic, but because your mind listens to it. The human brain is like a garden. If you put weeds of doubt in it, they grow quickly. If you plant flowers of belief, they grow too. When you wake up and say, "I am weak, I am tired, today will be bad," you water the weeds. But when you say, "I am grateful, I am strong, I will try," you water the flowers. And the more often you water the flowers, the more beautiful your inner garden becomes. Think about mornings you started with stress. Maybe you said, "I don't want to go to work. I don't want to talk to people. I hate this." How did the rest of the day feel? Every little sound annoyed you. Every small problem grew bigger. Now think about a morning when you told yourself, "I can do this. I will take it step by step. I will try to smile." How did that day feel? The problems did not disappear, but you were stronger. This is the power of morning words. Of course, it is not easy to change habits. Many people wake up and immediately think of problems. They think about money, work, or mistakes from yesterday. This is normal, but we must ask, does this help? Does it make life easier? The answer is no. So why not try something different? Why not give yourself words that help instead of words that hurt? The good news is, you don't need a lot of time. You don't need expensive tools. You only need your voice and your heart. In the morning, before you check your phone, before you complain, before you worry, take one breath. Place one simple sentence in your mind. Something that gives you energy, not stress. This is the small secret that many successful, happy people use. They speak to themselves with kindness before the world speaks to them with noise. So, my friend, remember this. Your mornings are not just about coffee, alarms, or traffic. They are about the words you choose. words that can break your day, or words that can build your day. You have the power to choose. If you choose wisely, your mornings will not control you. You will control them. And now, you may be asking, what sentences should I say? What words are strong enough to help me? This is exactly what we will explore next. There are 15 simple, powerful sentences you can tell yourself every morning. These sentences will not only make your mornings brighter, but also make your life stronger. Let's begin with the very first one, a sentence of gratitude. I am grateful for a new day. Section 2. I am grateful for a new day. When the sun rises each morning, the world gives us a gift, another chance to live, but many people do not see it as a gift. They wake up, and the first words they say are not kind, but heavy. They sigh and whisper, I don't want to go to work. I'm still tired. Why is life so hard? These words make the day feel difficult even before it begins. It is like starting a race with heavy stones in your pocket. Every step feels harder because the weight of negative thoughts is already on your shoulders. Now imagine a different start. A person wakes up, feels the warmth of the blanket, and instead of complaining, they take a deep breath. They look at the light coming through the window and say softly, I am grateful for a new day. The same body may feel tired. The same world may still have problems. But those simple words change the heart. Gratitude is like sunshine inside your mind. It gives energy even before breakfast. Let me tell you a story. There were two friends, Anna and Leo. Both had the same job. Both woke up early every morning. Anna usually woke up and thought, another boring day. I hate this routine. She dragged herself out of bed, dressed without joy, and walked to work with a frown. On the way, she noticed the noise of cars, the rude people, and the cold air. Everything annoyed her. Leo, on the other hand, had a different habit. Each morning when his alarm rang, he closed his eyes for one moment and said, I am grateful for a new day. He thanked life for the chance to see the morning sun again. He stretched his arms and smiled, even if the day was busy ahead. On his way to work, he noticed the fresh smell of bread from the bakery, the sound of birds, and the kind smile of the shopkeeper. The same road, the same people, but a completely different experience. Why? Because Anna filled her mind with complaints, while Leo filled his heart with gratitude. Complaining made Anna blind to beauty, but gratitude opened Leo's eyes to it. This is the power of starting with thankfulness. Gratitude changes how we see the world. When we say, I am grateful for a new day, we remind ourselves that life is a gift. Not everyone gets another sunrise. Not everyone gets another chance to breathe, to learn, to love, to try again. Gratitude makes us softer, calmer, and stronger at the same time. Think about a day when you woke up angry. Maybe you said, I don't want this day. How did it feel? Probably heavy, slow, and dark. Now think about a day when you felt thankful. Thankful for your family, your health, or even just the morning air. That day felt lighter, didn't it? Gratitude does not change the problems, but it changes how we carry them. It gives us strength instead of weakness. Some people think gratitude is only for big things like winning a prize or getting a promotion. But real gratitude is found in small things. Waking up in a warm bed, drinking clean water, hearing laughter, seeing the sky. These small things are treasures that we often forget. When we notice them and say thank you, our heart grows richer. Let's imagine another picture. A man wakes up late, realizes he must run to catch the bus, and starts shouting, "Why is my life always like this? Nothing goes right." He arrives at work already tired, already angry. His energy is gone before the day begins. But another man wakes up late too. He breathes, smiles, and says, "I am grateful I still have this day. I will try my best with the time I have." He runs to catch the bus, but instead of stress, he feels alive. He speaks kindly to the driver, and he enters work with more peace. Both were late, but one carried anger, and the other carried gratitude. Which one do you think had the better day? Gratitude is not about ignoring problems. It is about seeing the good that still exists beside the problems. Life is never perfect, but gratitude makes it meaningful. When you tell yourself, "I am grateful for a new day," you prepare your mind for good things. You open the door for hope, for energy, for peace. Try it tomorrow morning. When you wake up, before checking your phone, before thinking about yesterday's mistakes, place your hand on your chest and say, "I am grateful for a new day." Feel the breath in your lungs. Look at the light. Listen to the sounds around you. This simple practice will not take more than 10 seconds, but it will shape the next 10 hours of your life. Words in the morning are like the first colors on a canvas. If you choose dark colors of complaint, the picture of your day will look heavy. If you choose bright colors of gratitude, the picture will look alive and beautiful. Gratitude is the brush that paints hope across the canvas of your day. And here is something important. Gratitude also makes success easier. When your heart is thankful, your mind is clear. You are not fighting against yourself. You are more open to new ideas, more ready to work, and more patient with challenges. This is how self-talk, starting with gratitude, sets the emotional tone for success. So tomorrow when the alarm rings, you have a choice. You can start with a complaint and carry a heavy stone all day, or you can start with gratitude and carry light in your heart. The sentence is simple. I am grateful for a new day. Let this be the first key to unlock mornings of strength. Now that we understand the power of gratitude, let us take the next step. Gratitude opens the door, but courage helps us walk through it. The next powerful sentence will remind us that we are strong enough to face whatever comes. Section 3. I am strong enough to handle today. Every day brings us challenges. Some days the challenge is small, like waiting in traffic or finishing a simple task at work. Other days, the challenge feels very big, like giving an important presentation, taking an exam, or making a difficult decision. And when we first open our eyes in the morning, the thought of those challenges can feel heavy. Many people wake up and immediately think, "I can't do this. Today will be too hard for me." These words fill the heart with fear, and fear takes away energy before the day has even started. Now imagine a different morning. The same challenges wait, but instead of fear, a person begins with courage. They wake up, breathe deeply, and whisper to themselves, "I am strong enough to handle today." These words are not magic, but they are powerful. They remind the heart that strength already lives inside. Instead of starting the day as a victim, the person begins as a fighter. Let me tell you a story. There was a student named Maya who had an important exam. The night before, she studied hard, but when the alarm rang in the morning, her first thought was, "I will fail. I am not ready. I am too weak." She sat on her bed with her hands shaking. By the time she arrived at school, her heart was already defeated. She opened the paper and her mind felt empty. Fear whispered louder than her memory. But one day, Maya tried something new. She woke up, felt the same fear, but she placed her hand on her chest and said, "I am strong enough to handle today." At first, she didn't fully believe it, but she repeated it again and again. Slowly, her heart calmed. She walked to school with her back straighter. When she saw the exam paper, she took a breath and told herself, "I can handle this." And something amazing happened. Her mind began to remember what she studied. She was not perfect, but she was stronger than her fear. This is the difference between fear and courage. Fear says, "You are too small. You cannot do it." Courage says, "You are strong enough to try." The problems are the same, but your words decide how you face them. Fear closes the door. Courage opens it. Think about it this way. Life is like carrying a backpack. If you tell yourself, "I am weak," the backpack feels heavier with every step. But if you tell yourself, "I am strong enough," the weight does not disappear, but your shoulders feel ready to carry it. The same backpack, the same road, but a different experience because of your belief. Many people wait for fear to disappear before they take action. They say, "When I feel confident, then I will try." But the truth is, courage does not come after action. It comes before it, in the words you tell yourself. Saying, "I am strong enough to handle today," is like turning on a light in a dark room. The darkness does not go away instantly, but now you can see where to step. Let's look at another example. Imagine two workers have the same difficult project. The first worker wakes up and says, "This is too hard. I will never finish." All day they feel heavy and slow. They look at the problem and see only walls. The second worker wakes up and says, "I am strong enough to handle today." They still see the problem, but they also see doors. They work step by step, and their courage gives them energy. At the end of the day, the first worker feels defeated, but the second feels proud, even if the project is not finished yet. The truth is, challenges will never leave us. Life will always bring something new to test us. But the words we choose in the morning decide if we meet the test with fear or with strength. When you say, "I am strong enough to handle today," you are not saying, "I have no problems." You are saying, "I have power inside me, and I can face my problems." So tomorrow morning, when you feel tired, worried, or afraid, try this. Sit up, breathe slowly, and say out loud, "I am strong enough to handle today." Say it again until your heart believes it. Then stand and carry that strength into your actions. You will notice that fear becomes smaller and your steps become bigger. Remember, life's storms do not stop just because we wish them away. The rain will come, the wind will blow, and the road will sometimes feel hard. But when you believe you are strong enough, you don't wait for the storm to end. You walk through it. And each storm you face makes you stronger for the next one. So let these words be your shield each morning. They will not remove the challenge, but they will remind you that you already have the courage to face it. And with this belief, you will see that problems are not walls to stop you, but doors to help you grow. And now, after courage, comes another choice. Strength helps us face challenges, but what about joy? The next powerful sentence teaches us that happiness is not something we wait for. It is something we choose. Section 4. I choose to be happy today. Many people believe happiness is something that arrives by surprise. They wait for good news, more money, or a special event before they allow themselves to smile. They think, when life gives me what I want, then I will be happy. But this way of thinking leaves happiness far away, like a bus that never comes. The truth is different. Happiness is not something we wait for. It is something we choose. And we can choose it every morning, before the world decides for us. Let me share a story of two co-workers, James and Sophia. They worked in the same office, with the same boss, and the same long hours. James often started his day saying, "I hope something nice happens today." If nothing special happened, he became sad and disappointed. He felt like life was unfair because joy did not appear on its own. Sophia, on the other hand, made a different decision. Every morning, as she sipped her coffee, she whispered to herself, "I choose to be happy today." She did not wait for the world to give her joy. She created it herself. One morning, the office computer system stopped working. James became angry and said, "Of course this happens to me." This day is ruined. He walked around with a frown, and soon everyone avoided him. Sophia also felt the stress of the broken computers, but she took a deep breath and said, "This is hard, but I can still find small reasons to smile." She made a small joke, shared it with her co-workers, and helped calm the room. The system problem was the same for both, but James carried anger while Sophia carried lightness. At the end of the day, her energy was stronger and her relationships were warmer. This is the power of choosing happiness. When you choose happiness, you don't say, "Life is perfect." You say, "Even with problems, I will look for moments of joy." You don't deny the rain, but you notice the beauty of the umbrella, the sound of the drops, or the feeling of being alive. Happiness is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of a thankful heart. Think about mornings when you told yourself, "This day will be bad." How did the rest of the day feel? Every small difficulty seemed bigger. Every person's words felt harder to hear. Now think of mornings when you said, "I choose to be happy today." Even when something went wrong, you found strength to laugh or to keep moving. The day felt brighter because you decided to look for light. Some people say, "But how can I choose happiness when my life is not easy?" The answer is simple: happiness in small things. You may not change everything in one day, but you can notice the small gifts. The taste of fresh bread, the smell of coffee, the smile of a child, the sound of music on the bus. These small moments become seeds of joy. When you water them with attention, they grow. If you wait for big events only, joy will be rare. But if you choose happiness in small things, joy becomes part of every day. Imagine your heart like a window. If you keep it closed, waiting for the perfect weather, you will never feel fresh air. But if you open it just a little, you will feel the breeze, even if the sky is cloudy. Choosing happiness is like opening that window each morning. Another important truth is this: happiness spreads. When you choose to be happy, people around you feel it. They smile back, they feel more relaxed, and work becomes easier. But when you wait for happiness and stay negative, others feel that weight too. Which one do you think creates better friendships, stronger teamwork, and a more peaceful home? The answer is clear. Happiness is a gift you give not only to yourself, but also to others. Of course, Choosing happiness does not mean ignoring pain. Sadness, loss, and difficulties are real, and we must face them honestly. But even in hard times, there are small sparks of joy if we choose to see them. A kind word, a deep breath, or a memory can remind us that life is still worth living. By saying, "I choose to be happy today," we do not deny pain. We simply refuse to let pain control the whole day. So tomorrow morning, try this. Before you leave your bed, whisper to yourself, "I choose to be happy today." Carry those words as you drink your coffee, walk to work, or sit in class. When something annoys you, remember your choice. You may not control the problem, but you can control your reaction. With practice, this daily choice becomes a habit, and soon, joy becomes your natural way of living. Happiness is not far away. It is not something that belongs only to lucky people. It is a door, and you have the key in your pocket. Every morning, you can open it by choosing. So let today and every day begin with the words, "I choose to be happy." And now, as we understand the power of choosing joy, we must also learn how to deal with the things we cannot control. Because happiness grows when we focus our energy wisely. The next sentence will guide us to peace. I will focus on what I can control. Section 5. I will focus on what I can control. Life is full of things we cannot control. The weather changes without asking us. Traffic jams appear without warning. People sometimes speak unkind words. If we spend our energy fighting these things, we only make ourselves tired. Many mornings begin with this mistake. A person wakes up, faces a small problem, and then spends the whole day angry about something they could never change. But there is another way, a calmer way. We can choose to focus on what we can control and let go of the rest. Let me tell you a story. One morning, Daniel was driving to work. The road was crowded, cars were moving slowly, and the clock was ticking fast. Daniel gripped the steering wheel tightly, shouting, "Why is this happening? Why is traffic always so bad? I will be late again." His heart raced, his head hurt, and his whole body felt tense. By the time he arrived at work, he was not only late, but also exhausted. His mind had been fighting something he could never change: the traffic. Now, let's look at his friend, Sarah. She also faced the same traffic jam. The cars around her moved just as slowly, but instead of fighting it, she took a deep breath and said, "I cannot control the traffic, but I can control my reaction." She put on an audiobook she enjoyed. She listened, learned something new, and used the time as a gift instead of a punishment. When she arrived at work, she was late too, but she was calm, ready, and even inspired by the story she had heard. The difference between Daniel and Sarah was not the traffic. The difference was focus. Daniel focused on the problem he could not change, and his stress grew. Sarah focused on what she could do, choose calm, listen, and learn, and her peace grew. This is why the sentence, "I will focus on what I can control," is so powerful in the morning. It is a reminder that peace comes not from controlling everything, but from choosing wisely where we place our energy. When we fight against what we cannot change, we lose strength. But when we give attention to what we can change, we feel lighter and stronger. Think about it. Can we stop the rain? No. But we can carry an umbrella. Can we stop people from talking? No. But we can choose how to respond. Can we control every event in our day? No. but we can control our attitude and our actions. This small change in focus makes a big difference in the way we live. Many people carry stress because they waste energy on what is outside their power. They ask, why is life unfair? Why are people so difficult? Why is this always happening to me? These questions have no answers, and they steal peace. But people who practice this morning sentence ask different questions. What can I do now? What is in my control? How can I make the best of this moment? These questions give clarity and confidence. Imagine your energy like water in a bottle. If you pour it onto dry sand, it disappears quickly. That is what happens when you waste energy on things you cannot control. But if you pour it into a plant, it grows. That is what happens when you use your energy for things you can control. Your choices, your words, your habits. The same water, but two very different results. So tomorrow morning, remind yourself, I will focus on what I can control. When you face traffic, instead of shouting, take a deep breath and use the time for something useful. When someone is rude, instead of holding anger all day, choose kindness or simply walk away. When plans change, instead of crying, look for a new solution. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the strength of choosing peace. And here is the secret. This habit does more than give calm. It also builds productivity and confidence. When you stop wasting energy on the impossible, you have more power for the possible. You work better, you think more clearly, and you believe more strongly in yourself. Slowly, your life feels less like a storm you cannot control, and more like a boat you can steer. So, my friend, carry this sentence in your mornings. I will focus on what I can control. It will make your heart lighter and your steps stronger. Problems will still come, but they will no longer control your mood. You will discover that peace is not about a perfect world. It is about a wise focus. And as you learn to focus on what you can control, another truth becomes clear. You are worthy of good things in life. The next sentence will remind us to believe in our own value. I deserve good things. Section 6. I deserve good things. Many people wake up in the morning already carrying a heavy thought. I am not good enough. This thought is like a shadow that follows them everywhere. It whispers, you cannot do it. You don't deserve it. Other people are better. And because they believe this voice, they stop trying, they stop asking, and they stop growing. But the truth is very different. Every human being deserves good things: happiness, love, success, and peace. Saying the words, I deserve good things, is not about pride. It is about giving yourself permission to live fully. Let's imagine two young workers who start at the same company. The first one, Anna, is hardworking, but always doubts herself. When a new project comes, she thinks, I am not smart enough to lead this. When a manager asks for ideas, she stays quiet because she fears her thoughts are not good. She works hard, but her self-doubt keeps her small. Opportunities pass by her because she never raises her hand. Inside, she feels invisible. Now, let's look at her colleague, David. He also works hard, but every morning he tells himself, I deserve good things. I deserve to grow. When a project appears, he says, I will try. I may not know everything, but I can learn. When the manager asks for ideas, he speaks up, even if his idea is not perfect. Sometimes he makes mistakes, but because he believes he deserves to improve, he learns quickly. Within a year, David grows faster than Anna, not because he is smarter, but because he believes in his worth. The difference between Anna and David is not talent, it is self-worth. Anna thinks good things belong to others, so she does not reach for them. David believes good things also belong to him, so he opens the door and steps inside. This is the power of the sentence, "I deserve good things." It is like a key that unlocks the door of opportunity. Without this belief, you may stand outside the door all your life, watching others enjoy what could also be yours. With this belief, you begin to knock, to ask, to try, and the world responds. But many of us grow up with voices that tell us the opposite. Maybe a teacher once said, "You will never succeed." Maybe parents compared us to others. Maybe friends laughed at our dreams. These voices stay inside and make us think we are less. Yet those voices are not the truth. They are only opinions, and they do not decide your value. Here is a picture to help you understand. Imagine a diamond covered in dirt. If you see only the dirt, you may think it has no value, but if you clean it, you see its shine. Many of us live like that diamond. Our true worth is hidden under self-doubt and negative voices. But the shine is still there. We only need to believe it and clean away the lies. When you say, "I deserve good things," you are cleaning the diamond. You are reminding yourself, "I am worthy of love. I am worthy of rest. I am worthy of growth. I am worthy of joy." This is not selfish. It is healthy, because when you believe in your worth, you also treat others better. A person who feels empty inside often gives bitterness, but a person who feels worthy gives kindness. Tomorrow morning, try saying it aloud, "I deserve good things." At first, it may feel strange, even uncomfortable. You may think, "But I made mistakes. I failed before. I don't deserve much." But remember, everyone makes mistakes, everyone fails, and still, everyone deserves another chance. Believing in your worth does not mean you are perfect. It means you are human, and being human is enough reason to deserve good things. Think of Anna again. If she began her mornings with this sentence, her story would change. She would speak up more, try more, and her growth would begin. She would realize that mistakes are not proof of weakness. They are part of learning. With every step forward, her belief would grow stronger. And little by little, her life would look brighter, just like David's. So, carry this sentence with you. I deserve good things. Let it remind you to open doors, to raise your hand, to ask for chances, to welcome love, to accept kindness, and to believe in your dreams. And here's the next step. When you believe you deserve good things, you also begin to treat yourself with confidence and kindness. That leads us to the next sentence. I believe in myself. Section 7. I am learning and growing every day. Every person who wants to improve in life must face mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning, but many of us fear them. We think mistakes make us look weak, stupid, or less than others. Because of this fear, we often stay silent, we stop trying, and we hide our true potential. But there is another way to see mistakes, not as signs of failure, but as steps on the path of growth. That is why the sentence, I am learning and growing every day, is so powerful. It reminds us that mistakes are not the end of the road, but part of the journey forward. Let's look at a story to understand this better. Imagine a young woman named Sarah, who is learning English. She goes to her first language exchange, excited but nervous. When she speaks, her sentences are broken, Her grammar is wrong, and sometimes people do not understand her. Afterward, she feels ashamed. She tells herself, I am terrible at this. I should just stop. Her shame makes her afraid to speak again, and slowly, her progress stops. Now imagine another learner, Michael. He also struggles at the beginning. His grammar is not perfect, and he makes mistakes too. But each morning he tells himself, I am learning and growing every day. When he makes a mistake, he does not feel shame. He feels curiosity. He asks, what can I learn from this? Instead of hiding, he practices more. Little by little, his sentences become smoother, his confidence grows, and his progress is visible. The difference between Sarah and Michael is not intelligence, it is mindset. Sarah sees mistakes as proof of weakness. Michael sees mistakes as signs of progress. Because of this, Michael keeps moving forward, while Sarah stays stuck. This is true in every area of life, not just language learning. A student preparing for exams may feel crushed after getting a bad grade, thinking, I will never improve. But if they say, I am learning and growing every day, they will see that the bad grade is not the end. It is feedback. It shows what they need to practice more. That belief keeps them moving, and moving is how growth happens. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall again and again, but no one tells them to stop. Instead, we cheer because we know every fall is part of the process. Yet, as adults, we forget this truth. We expect perfection from the start, and when we fall, we feel shame. But learning is always the same, whether walking, speaking, or building a career. Falling is normal, and each fall makes us stronger if we rise again. When you say, I am learning and growing every day, you give yourself permission to be imperfect. You tell yourself that today you may make mistakes, but tomorrow you will be a little better. Over time, these small steps add up to great progress. A single mistake is not a wall, it is a stepping stone. Here is another way to picture it. Imagine planting a tree. On the first day, the seed is invisible in the soil. On the second day, nothing has changed. But under the ground, growth is happening. Each drop of water, each ray of sun, helps the seed push upward. One day, a small green sprout appears. Later, it becomes a strong tree. Learning is just like that. Some days, you may not see results. But if you keep reminding yourself, I am learning and growing every day, you will trust the process. One day, you will see how far you have come. This sentence also protects your heart from unnecessary pain. Without it, you may give up too early, thinking you are not good enough. With it, you give yourself patience and hope. You understand that growth is not a straight line. It is full of ups and downs. But every step counts, and every effort adds to the journey. So, tomorrow morning, when you look in the mirror, say it clearly. I am learning and growing every day. Let it remind you that you do not need to be perfect. You only need to keep moving, to keep trying, to keep learning. With this mindset, mistakes lose their power to shame you. Instead, they become teachers that guide you. Think back to Sarah. If she had spoken those words each morning, her story would have been different. She would not have felt crushed by her broken sentences. She would have smiled and said, It's okay. I am growing. And step by step, her confidence would have carried her forward. That can also be your story. Every day is a chance to learn. Every mistake is proof that you are trying. Every effort is a seed planted in the soil of your future. Say it, believe it, live it. I am learning and growing every day. And when you believe this deeply, you begin to see how daily progress, no matter how small, creates powerful results. That takes us to the next idea, the power of daily progress. Section 8. I will bring kindness to others. Every morning, we carry with us a choice. Will we bring kindness into the world, or will we spread negativity? The way we begin our day does not stay with only us. It flows into every person we meet. Our words, our expressions, and our actions create ripples. That is why the sentence, I will bring kindness to others, is so powerful. It reminds us that kindness is not just a gift we give. It is a gift that comes back to us. Imagine two very different mornings. The first begins with Daniel, who wakes up late, tired, and frustrated. On his way to work, he frowns at the driver who slows him down. At the office, he answers his colleague with a sharp tone. By the afternoon, everyone avoids him. He feels lonely and stressed, but he doesn't realize that it all began with his own negative energy. His grumpiness spread like smoke, filling every room he entered. Now picture Anna. She wakes up and says to herself, I will bring kindness to others. On her way to work, she holds the door for someone, smiles and says, Good morning. Later, at the cafe, she thanks the barista warmly. At work, she notices a coworker struggling and offers a few encouraging words. By the end of the day, Anna feels light, connected, and joyful. The kindness she gave returned to her many times over. The contrast between Daniel and Anna shows a simple truth. The energy you put into the world is the energy that comes back to you. Negativity multiplies when you spread it, but kindness also multiplies, only it multiplies in joy, peace, and connection. Sometimes we think kindness is something small and unimportant. A smile, a kind word, or a patient reply might feel ordinary. But for someone else, it can change the whole day. Think about a stranger you once met who smiled at you when you felt down. That moment may have been small for them, but it stayed with you. That is the secret power of kindness. It can live longer than we imagine. There is also another truth. Being kind is not only for others, it is for you. Science shows that when we act kindly, our brains release chemicals that make us feel happy and calm. It lowers stress, brings energy, and even improves health. In other words, kindness is medicine, not just for the receiver, but for the giver too. But what about difficult mornings? What if you wake up tired, worried, or angry? Can you still bring kindness? The answer is yes. Kindness is not about being perfect. It is about choosing how to act. Even if you feel heavy inside, a simple act of kindness, like saying thank you or offering help, can lift your own heart. Often, kindness heals both the giver and the receiver at the same time. Think of it like lighting candles. If you light one candle and then use it to light another, your own flame does not get smaller. In fact, the light in the room grows brighter. The same happens with kindness. When you share it, you do not lose, it expands. There is also a long-term effect. A person who brings kindness to others each day slowly becomes known as someone who is trustworthy, supportive, and inspiring. Opportunities, friendships, and joy naturally find their way to such a person. This is why kindness is not weakness, it is strength. It builds bridges where walls once stood. So, tomorrow morning, before you step out of your home, say to yourself, I will bring kindness to others. It does not have to be something big. You do not need to give money or change the world in one day. Small, steady acts are enough, a smile, a patient ear, a word of encouragement, a gentle reply instead of anger. Remember Daniel and Anna. Both faced an ordinary day, but their choices made the difference between stress and joy. If you choose kindness, you not only change your day, you may also change someone else's. And who knows, that person might carry your kindness forward, passing it on to another. In this way, your one small choice can spread farther than you will ever see. Kindness, like positive energy, multiplies when shared. It grows beyond you and fills the world around you. And when you live with this spirit, life becomes richer, lighter, and more connected. So let's carry this truth with us. I will bring kindness to others. Not just once, not just when we feel good, but as a daily choice. Because when we bring kindness, life gives it back. And this leads us to the next idea, the power of positive energy, and how it grows stronger the more we share it. Section 9. I am in control of my story. Every life is a story, but many people forget one important fact. They are the authors of their own story. Too often we act as if life happens to us, letting circumstances, other people, or bad luck dictate the plot. The sentence, I am in control of my story, reminds us that we have the power to write each chapter, no matter what has happened before. Consider two very different mornings. In the first, Michael wakes up feeling unlucky. He thinks, why does everything bad happen to me? At work, when a project fails, he blames his boss, the clients, or just life itself. By the end of the day, he feels powerless, frustrated, and stuck. Michael's story is one of excuses and complaints, written not by him, but by fear and blame. Now look at Sarah. She also faces challenges. Her project is late, and a client complains. But she reminds herself, I am in control of my story. Instead of blaming others, she looks for solutions. She makes a plan, asks for help when needed, and takes small, deliberate steps to improve the situation. By evening, she feels proud and confident, even though the problems haven't disappeared completely. Sarah is actively shaping her story, one decision at a time. The contrast is clear. Life throws challenges at everyone, but the difference lies in mindset. When we believe we are victims, we give away our power. But when we see ourselves as authors, we take responsibility and find paths forward. Every action, every choice becomes a word or sentence in the story we are writing. Being in control of your story doesn't mean life will be perfect. It doesn't erase problems or pain, but it changes how you experience them. A person who takes control approaches difficulties with curiosity and creativity rather than fear and frustration. They ask themselves, what can I do right now to make this better? Instead of, why me? Imagine someone learning a new skill. They could say, I'll never be good at this. I have no talent. That mindset traps them in a story of failure. But if they say, I am in control of my story, I will practice and improve, suddenly every mistake becomes a stepping stone. The story changes from helplessness to growth. Small steps matter. Every choice you make, no matter how tiny, writes your story differently. Waking up on time, saying positive words to yourself, helping someone, focusing on what you can control. These may seem small, but they are chapters in a larger narrative. Over time, these chapters build a story of courage, resilience, and success. Sometimes taking control of your story means changing your perspective. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, see them as lessons. Instead of seeing criticism as attack, see it as guidance. When you own your story, you learn to navigate life's twists and turns with a sense of agency rather than fear. Another important truth: you are never too late to start a new chapter. Past mistakes, missed opportunities, or regrets do not define the next pages. Each morning gives you a chance to pick up the pen and write differently. This is freedom. The freedom to shape your life according to your values, your choices, and your vision. Sarah's story teaches us that control is not about force or rigidity. It is about mindful action. It is about saying, I decide how I respond. I decide what I focus on. I decide what my story will be. When you live this way, even challenges feel like part of the plot that you are mastering rather than suffering through. As we approach the end of our journey through these morning sentences, remember this: I am in control of my story connects all the lessons together. Gratitude, strength, happiness, focus, self-worth, growth, kindness, they all contribute to the story you are writing each day. The sentences are not just words, they are tools to shape your narrative. When you understand that you are the author, you begin to see life differently. Obstacles become opportunities, failures become lessons, and small victories become milestones. Every day is a chance to turn the page and write a chapter filled with intention, courage, and positivity. So start tomorrow morning with this thought: I am in control of my story. Feel the power in it. Let it guide your words, your actions, and your choices. And remember, you are never simply a character in someone else's story. You are the writer of your own. Section 10. Living the 15 sentences every day. Mornings are magical. They are the first moments of a new day, a fresh chapter in your life. Yet, many of us start them without realizing the power of our own words. Before discovering the 15 morning sentences, imagine Sarah's routine. She wakes up to the sound of her alarm with a sigh. Her first thought is a complaint. I have so much to do. I'm tired. I'm not ready for this. Her mind immediately spirals into worries about work, relationships, and the little annoyances of daily life. As she drags herself out of bed, she mutters more complaints under her breath. Breakfast is rushed. Coffee tastes bitter because she is distracted by stress, and the commute feels unbearable. By the time she reaches work, her energy is low, her patience is short, and her confidence is fragile. The morning, which should have been a fresh start, has already shaped the day into a stressful, exhausting experience. This is the before picture, a morning ruled by negative self-talk. Now, let's imagine a different morning. Sarah has learned to start her day with the 15 powerful sentences. She wakes up and smiles, whispering to herself, I am grateful for a new day. Immediately, she notices the difference. Gratitude brings a sense of lightness. The complaints that used to dominate her mind are replaced with appreciation for being alive, for opportunities, for small comforts like a warm shower or the sun shining outside. Next, she reminds herself, I am strong enough to handle today. Challenges no longer feel overwhelming. Instead of fear and avoidance, she feels courage and readiness. She is equipped to face difficult conversations at work, an important presentation, or unexpected obstacles on her commute. Her mindset has shifted from helplessness to empowerment. As she brushes her teeth, she repeats, I choose to be happy today. Happiness is no longer something she waits for. It is a choice. She notices the aroma of her coffee, the warmth of the mug in her hands, the song playing softly on the radio. Even small moments become sources of joy. Her smile grows naturally, and she feels lighter, ready to approach the day with positivity. Before leaving for work, she says, "I will focus on what I can control." This sentence is like armor for her mind. Traffic jams, delayed emails, or difficult colleagues are no longer sources of stress. Instead, she directs her energy to actions she can take, planning her tasks, preparing for meetings, and responding calmly to challenges. Peace replaces anxiety. As Sarah continues her morning, she reminds herself, "I deserve good things." Self-worth is a powerful motivator. She no longer hesitates to take opportunities or ask for support. She understands that confidence comes from believing in herself and her right to succeed. Doors open naturally when self-doubt is replaced with belief. Next, she says, "I am learning and growing every day." Mistakes from the previous day or fears about the future no longer hold her back. She views every challenge as a chance to improve. Learning becomes a joy, not a source of shame. Each action she takes contributes to growth, making her feel capable and resilient. As she steps outside, she repeats, "I will bring kindness to others." Sarah notices how her mood shifts when she offers smiles, helps a coworker, or thanks the bus driver. Kindness multiplies. What she gives returns to her, creating a positive energy that fuels her entire day. She continues her morning affirmations with, "I am in control of my story." She recognizes that while she cannot control everything, she can control her reactions and choices. Every decision is a sentence in the story of her life, and she is the author. This perspective turns obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into lessons, and failures into stepping stones. The other sentence is, "I forgive myself and others. I trust the process of life. I am patient with my progress. I am focused on my goals. I embrace challenges with courage. I radiate confidence and positivity. And I am open to new opportunities." Work together like instruments in an orchestra. Each one reinforces the others, creating harmony in her thoughts, emotions, and actions. By the time Sarah leaves her home, she feels energized, motivated, and ready to face the day. Her morning has transformed from a stressful, reactive routine to a proactive, empowering ritual. She is no longer a passenger in her life. She is the driver. Every word she speaks to herself shapes her day, building strength, peace, and resilience. The contrast between the before and after mornings is striking. Negative self-talk drains energy, clouds judgment, and weakens relationships. Positive morning sentences create focus, happiness, and confidence. They don't magically erase problems, but they change how we face them. Our mindset transforms stress into learning, challenges into growth, and ordinary mornings into powerful beginnings. It's important to understand that these sentences are not a one-time magic solution. Their power grows with repetition. Just as a plant takes time to grow, your mind takes time to absorb new habits. Saying these sentences daily rewires your thought patterns. Over weeks, months, and years, they shape your life, making positivity, courage, and resilience your natural state. Consistency matters more than perfection. Some mornings, you might forget a sentence or feel resistant. That's normal. The key is to start again the next morning. Progress is built from repeated action, not occasional perfection. Each day you use these sentences, you plant seeds that blossom into confidence, focus, and inner peace. Imagine a month of practicing these 15 sentences. Mornings feel lighter, relationships improve, work becomes more enjoyable, and personal growth accelerates. Over a year, your life could look very different. Obstacles are still present, but your ability to handle them is stronger. You are more resilient, patient, and hopeful. You are actively shaping your story rather than reacting to it. Let's return to Sarah. Her transformation is not dramatic overnight. It is gradual, built sentence by sentence, day by day. Each morning, she strengthens her mindset. Each sentence she speaks creates small but powerful changes in her thoughts, actions, and feelings. By the end of her first month, she notices mornings are no longer stressful, she handles challenges calmly, and she feels joy in small daily moments. The 15 sentences have become a part of her life, guiding her toward a brighter, more empowered future. The lessons are clear. Words matter. Thoughts matter. Self-talk shapes emotions, decisions, and ultimately, life itself. These 15 sentences are more than phrases. They are tools. They help you set your emotional tone, build resilience, and take control of your story. When used consistently, they turn ordinary mornings into powerful beginnings, filling your day with energy, focus, and purpose. Now it's your turn. Tomorrow morning, before the world pulls you in every direction, speak these sentences aloud or silently to yourself. Feel the gratitude, strength, happiness, focus, self-worth, growth, kindness, and control flowing through you. Let them guide your choices, your actions, and your mindset. Over time, they will become your habit, your ritual, your foundation for a strong, motivated, and peaceful life. Remember, every morning, your words are your power. Choose them well. Start today. Write the story you want to live. Speak the words that will shape your life, and watch how your days and ultimately your life transform, sentence by sentence, morning by morning. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you feel inspired to try these 15 sentences tomorrow morning. Remember, change does not happen all at once, but every small step you take, every sentence you say, adds up to something powerful. Your mornings are your foundation, and the words you speak to yourself shape your day, your choices, and your life. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and comment. I want to hear which sentence is your favorite, or how it helped you feel stronger and more positive. Your story could inspire someone else to start their day with energy, courage, and happiness. And don't forget, we upload new videos every day. Every day you can learn something new, practice English, and grow step by step. By watching every day, repeating what you learn, and using these sentences in your own life, you are taking real action to improve your English and your mindset at the same time. So make it a habit. Start each morning with these sentences, keep coming back to this channel, and let's grow together. Your journey is unique, but you are never alone. We are building a community of learners, dreamers, and doers who support each other every day. Remember, your words are your power. Use them wisely. Start tomorrow. Start today. And keep learning. Keep growing, and keep shining. I'll see you in the next video.